Hey there, welcome to our channel. Relationships are a vital part of our lives, but they can also be challenging. Whether you're dating, married, or just exploring love, we all need a little guidance now and then. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 key rules for relationships that can help you build stronger, healthier connections with your partner. Hey everyone, today we're diving into something that's on the minds of so many people: how to make our relationships better. These 3 simple but powerful rules will help you create more meaningful, lasting connections. So grab a coffee and let's get started. Rule number 1, communication is key. Rule number 1, communication is key. You've probably heard that countless times before, but let's talk about why it's not just a catchy phrase, it's the backbone of any healthy relationship. Without communication, it's almost impossible to connect, resolve issues, or understand each other. So let's break down why communication matters and how you can improve it in your relationship. Effective communication isn't just about talking. It's about understanding each other's emotions, needs, and intentions. When you're able to express your thoughts honestly and listen with empathy, you create a deeper connection with your partner. Whether you're sharing good news, venting about a stressful day, or discussing a problem, being open and honest is essential. But here's the thing. Communication is a two-way street. One thing that often gets overlooked is that listening is just as important as speaking. And I'm not talking about just hearing the words your partner says. Active listening is where the magic happens. It means giving your partner your full attention, understanding their point of view, and showing them that their feelings and thoughts truly matter. So don't just wait for your turn to speak. Engage with what they're saying, reflect on it, and give them the space to express themselves. You can tell a lot by how someone listens. When you listen actively, it's not just about hearing the words. They're more than that. It's about understanding the emotions behind those words. Are they feeling sad, excited, frustrated, or unsure? Reflecting on those emotions will give you a deeper understanding of their world and allow you to respond with empathy. Let's take it a step further. Communication isn't just about words. Nonverbal communication plays a massive role. Body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, even the way we hold ourselves during a conversation can reveal so much. Sometimes a partner might say everything's fine, but their posture or tone tells a different story. Or they might be quiet, but the look in their eyes shows how they're truly feeling. Being aware of these subtle cues can make a huge difference in how you respond. It helps you understand what your partner needs, even when they're not speaking directly about it. For example, if your partner's crossing their arms or avoiding eye contact, they might not feel comfortable or may be upset, even if their words say otherwise. Paying attention to those nonverbal signals and adjusting your response accordingly can show that you're not just listening, but also deeply attuned to what they're going through. Now, let's talk about conflict. Let's face it, no relationship is without its disagreements, but communication can be the difference between a fight and a healthy discussion. One of the biggest mistakes people make during conflict is letting emotions take over and forgetting to communicate respectfully. Raising your voice, using harsh language, or interrupting your partner doesn't resolve anything. It only escalates the tension. So, here's a little tip. If you're feeling frustrated, take a moment to calm down before responding. Sometimes, stepping away from the conversation to collect your thoughts, or even taking a few deep breaths, can help both of you approach the issue with a clearer mind. If you communicate with respect and empathy, even when you're upset, it's much easier to work through disagreements and find a solution together. Let's not forget about the importance of timing in communication. Sometimes the issue isn't the conversation itself, it's the timing of when it happens. Have you ever tried to talk to your partner when they're distracted or stressed, and it felt like they weren't listening at all? Timing is everything. Choosing a good moment to have an important conversation can make a huge difference in how your message is received. Be mindful of when and where you're having conversations, especially those that involve deeper emotions or tough topics. Make sure you're both in the right headspace to really hear each other. It's not about avoiding difficult conversations. It's about creating a space where both of you feel heard, respected, and ready to communicate openly. And here's something simple but powerful. Keep the conversation going. It's not just about communicating when something's wrong. Make it a habit to check in with your partner regularly, even when everything's fine. Ask them how their day went, how they're feeling, or if they need anything from you. That constant open line of communication helps prevent misunderstandings and deepens your emotional connection over time. The more you make it a priority to communicate regularly, the easier it becomes to share the big things too, the things that really matter in the relationship. It's about staying connected, not just in the good times, but through all of it. So here's the key takeaway. Communication is about more than just talking. It's about truly understanding and connecting with each other. Whether you're listening actively, paying attention to nonverbal cues, or communicating calmly during conflict, making communication a priority is one of the best ways to build trust and intimacy. When you communicate well, you'll create a relationship where both partners feel heard, valued, and supported. Rule number 2, respect each other's boundaries. All right, rule number 2, respect each other's boundaries. This is one of the most important and often overlooked rules in any relationship. When we talk about relationships, we're usually focused on love, trust, and connection. But let's be real, boundaries are what make all of that possible. They're what allow both partners to feel safe, respected, and valued in the relationship. We all have our personal space, emotional limits, and different ways of coping with stress. Some of us are introverts who need time to recharge alone. Others may be extroverts who thrive on interaction. Some people need time to process their emotions privately, while others prefer to talk things out immediately. Whatever the difference is, respecting these boundaries is key to maintaining a healthy relationship. Sometimes, respecting your partner's boundaries means giving them space. It's understanding when to back off and allow your partner the room they need. Maybe they've had a long day and don't feel like talking, or perhaps they need a moment of quiet time to process their emotions. It's crucial that we listen and recognize when our partner needs something different from what we might need. It's not a rejection, it's simply a need for space to recharge. And respecting that is one of the most loving things you can do for them. Here's the thing. It's completely normal to need time apart, even in the closest relationships. It's easy to think that you have to do everything together to maintain closeness, but in reality, respecting boundaries helps each person grow individually. When you give your partner the space they need, it actually makes the time you spend together even more meaningful, because you both feel fulfilled and refreshed in your own lives. Let's talk about emotional boundaries for a moment. Emotions are incredibly personal, and how we choose to express them varies from person to person. It's important to recognize when your partner needs emotional support and when they need time to deal with things on their own. If your partner isn't ready to talk about something yet, or if they need space to process an issue before discussing it, respecting that space is an act of understanding. Pushing them to open up before they're ready can feel like pressure, and it can strain the relationship. But when you're patient and give them that time, you're showing them respect, which strengthens the bond between you both. When you respect your partner's boundaries, you're also showing them empathy. You're acknowledging that their feelings, thoughts, and needs matter just as much as yours. This empathy creates a sense of mutual understanding, which is the foundation of trust in any relationship. Without it, relationships can quickly become imbalanced, with one partner constantly feeling overwhelmed or unheard. And here's something important to keep in mind. Boundaries aren't static. They evolve over time. As relationships grow, so do the individual needs of each partner. Maybe at one point you're comfortable with certain things that later on might feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. The key here is ongoing communication. It's crucial that you talk about your boundaries and, more importantly, check in with your partner regularly about theirs. This isn't just a one-time conversation, it's an ongoing dialogue that ensures you both continue to feel respected, heard, and valued. For example, let's say one partner feels like their personal time is being invaded or that their privacy is being compromised. Acknowledging and validating their feelings will help address the issue without it escalating into a conflict. Having a conversation about how you both define your boundaries and how to respect them will bring more clarity and reduce misunderstandings in the long run. But respecting boundaries goes beyond just personal space or privacy. It's about emotional and physical needs too. For example, physical boundaries, like how much physical affection someone feels comfortable with, are just as important as emotional ones. If one partner isn't ready for a certain level of intimacy, whether it's holding hands, hugging, or more, it's essential to honor that. Consent and comfort are the cornerstones of any healthy physical relationship. Remember, boundaries in relationships are about creating a safe environment for both people to thrive as individuals and as a couple. When boundaries are respected, trust is built, and trust is what makes relationships strong and lasting. So here's the takeaway. Respecting your partner's boundaries is one of the most loving, compassionate, and empowering things you can do in a relationship. It's a sign that you truly care about their well-being and that you value their feelings. When both partners feel comfortable, respected, and supported, that's when the real magic happens in a relationship. Rule number 3, keep the romance alive. All right, let's dive into rule number 3. Keep the romance alive. Now, I know this might sound like the most obvious one. After all, who doesn't want romance in their relationship? But here's the thing. Romance isn't just something that happens in the beginning. It's something you have to actively nurture throughout your relationship, no matter how long you've been together. And yes, it can get tricky when life gets busy, but let's face it, romance is the spark that makes a relationship truly magical. Without it, even the strongest bonds can start to feel stale. Romance isn't just about grand gestures, those big moments you see in movies or read about in romance novels. It's not always about sweeping your partner off their feet with an extravagant trip or buying expensive gifts. Romance is really about the everyday things that show you care. It's about the little moments where you put in the effort to make your partner feel special, loved, and valued. Let's break this down a bit. In long-term relationships, keeping the romance alive becomes even more important. You might find yourself slipping into a routine, work, kids, social commitments, life's pressures. And that's totally normal. But without intentional effort, the romance can get lost in all the chaos. And that's when you start hearing things like, "We don't spend enough time together," or "It feels like we're more like roommates than partners." Sound familiar? It's easy to get caught up in the grind of daily life, but here's the thing. When we stop being intentional about nurturing romance, we risk losing that emotional connection. Romance is what sparks that emotional intimacy. It's what makes you feel close to each other. It reminds you why you chose each other and why you're still committed. So how do you keep that spark alive when life gets in the way? Let's talk about it. First, let's be clear. Romance doesn't have to be over the top to be meaningful. It's often the simplest things that have the greatest impact. Small gestures speak volumes. A thoughtful note, a cup of coffee made just the way they like it, or a simple "I love you" at an unexpected time. These things show your partner that you're thinking of them and that you still care. They're simple, but they remind your partner that they matter to you in everyday life. But if you're in a long-term relationship, it's also important to step up your game from time to time. Scheduling regular date nights can be a game changer. And I know it's easy to say we're too busy or we'll do it next week. But honestly, if you don't make it a priority, the time will never magically appear. Even if it's just one evening a month, take the time to get dressed up, go out, and spend time connecting without distractions. And it doesn't always have to be a fancy dinner out. Sometimes a simple walk in the park or cooking dinner together at home can feel even more intimate. The key is creating moments of shared connection where you're both fully present with each other, not distracted by screens, kids, or work. Now, let's talk about the importance of physical affection. It's a huge part of keeping the romance alive. Physical touch helps maintain emotional closeness, even in long-term relationships. Cuddling, holding hands, giving hugs, or even a soft touch on the arm, these small, tender acts are a way to remind your partner that you're still there, still attracted to them, and still connected. And let's not forget the power of spontaneity. Romance doesn't always have to be planned. Sometimes the best moments happen when you least expect them. It could be something as simple as sending a flirty text during the day or surprising your partner with their favorite treat when they're having a rough day. These unexpected acts show your partner you're thinking of them even when you're not together. Here's the thing. Romance is what keeps the passion alive. It's what reminds you of the connection you've built and the love you share. It's easy to let the demands of life take over, but when you stop making romance a priority, you stop making each other a priority. And that's when relationships can start to feel distant. But when you invest in the little moments, the quiet dates, and the spontaneous acts of love, you're building a relationship that feels fresh, exciting, and full of passion, no matter how many years you've been together. Romance can evolve, and it should. What worked in the beginning of the relationship might change, but the effort to keep it alive should never fade. And let's be clear, keeping the romance alive doesn't require perfection. There will be days when life feels chaotic, when you're both too tired to plan a date, or when you're not in the mood to be overly affectionate. And that's okay. What matters is that you make the effort when you can, and that you keep reminding each other of the love you share. Because romance, in all its forms, is the foundation that allows that love to grow. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start small. Make your partner feel special in the little ways. Whether it's a surprise note, a spontaneous kiss, or even just an evening spent talking and reconnecting, those moments count. Romance is about keeping your connection alive and remembering why you fell in love in the first place. If you want to build a lasting, fulfilling relationship, romance isn't optional. It's essential. So, there you have it. 3 key rules for relationships: communication, respect for boundaries, and keeping the romance alive. These aren't just things to think about when things get tough. They're the bedrock of a healthy, thriving partnership. And if you prioritize these values, you'll be able to weather any storm together. When you really commit to open communication, it's not just about talking. It's about making sure both partners feel heard and understood. It's about vulnerability and sharing your true selves without fear of judgment. That's what builds trust and intimacy. And when it comes to boundaries, it's not about restrictions. It's about mutual respect. Understanding that your partner has their own needs, their own space, and their own way of processing the world is one of the most loving things you can do. It's all about balance, about knowing when to give each other space and when to lean in for support. And of course, we can't forget the romance. Sometimes we get so caught up in life's demands, work, responsibilities, daily tasks, that we forget to nurture the connection that first brought us together. But even the smallest gestures, whether it's a surprise date night or just a heartfelt compliment, can remind your partner that they are still cherished and adored. Romance keeps the spark alive and reminds us of the magic that brought us to this point. So, I want to challenge you. Think about one thing you can do today to put these principles into action. Maybe it's opening up more honestly with your partner, giving them the space they need to be themselves, or planning a little surprise to rekindle the romance. Every small action counts, and together they can create a relationship that's strong, fulfilling, and lasting. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful or you're looking forward to more relationship advice, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And I'd love to hear from you. What are your go-to tips for building a strong relationship? Share them in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, relationships take time and effort. But with communication, respect, and love, they can grow into something truly beautiful. Keep nurturing your connection, and don't be afraid to put in the work. You and your partner deserve it. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, stay connected, and keep that love alive. I'll see you in the next video.